We have got three experts to provide insight on the Chinese economy. First off, we have Liang. She's the professor of economics at Willamette University. Also, William Li, chief economist at the Milken Institute. And we also have Patel, the global business executive, senior fellow at the Drucker School of Management at Claremont Graduate University. Welcome to the show, everybody. Yan, let's start with you. This government work report has been highly anticipated both domestically and internationally. I'm curious to get your first thoughts after reading the report.
Right. I think the first impression is, the report has reviewed the past 5 years, 10 years of achievements of the Chinese economy. And of course, it also projects the future. So the growth target for 2023 is set at around 5%, which a lot of experts said is rather conservative. But I think it's definitely reasonable and feasible, judging from a sobering analysis of the global economic dynamics and also the domestic priorities and those long-term growth objectives. And the work report also covered many different aspects of the Chinese economy. It also provides, targets for inflation, job creation. It emphasizes, technological development, self-independency in technology, as well as, rural revitalization and also many other important aspects, including, the budgets for example, military spending, local government bond quota, and so on and so forth.
Right. William, you and I have talked about the China economy a number of times, and I would say you are cautiously optimistic. There are obviously challenges. Some people thought that the target might perhaps be a little bit higher. Some thought it might be a little lower. I think the quote about 5% seems to be not too hot, not too slow. But there are a lot of factors as to everyone predicting what's going to happen in 2023.
Well, Phil, I think the prediction of 5% growth and putting that as a target going forward is a sign of the times. How uncertain it is right now about the global recovery, China's own recovery, and China's own ambitious plans to shift from being an export engine and a locomotive for the world economy to a domestic-oriented economy where consumption and services are being emphasized. And I think one of the things that struck me about the report this year compared to previous years is how much stock taking there's been. It's been almost a stock taking of this is what we've done. And going forward, there's much less of that because of, I think, the uncertainty of the global economy and the ability of policy to drive the private sector in China toward more domestic services. And that's a huge challenge that's yet to be met.
Ryan, this is a theme that both Yan and William have echoed many times, is obviously the domestic consumption, domestic consumption, domestic consumption. I think we all know that. Are there specific sectors that you think need to be focused on, whether it's hospitality or it's travel or it's the SMEs, or as they say, driving domestic consumption, getting the consumers optimistic about the economy and getting out there to spend, because there are significant challenges that they're also facing post-COVID.
And one of the things you mentioned why it's a theme, it's also because there's a drop in demand, not just because of Chinese goods, it's because of the result of slowing economies outside. So it puts a pressure back onto what it is, the consumption piece, which is a big deal. But I think the other industries that, you mentioned, office services, I think is another one, auto and home appliances, those big ticket items from a local level, at a government level, if they can raise those things, have that support. And then don't forget, I think the elderly care and infant care could be a really big boom to help the economy as well. Now, I haven't mentioned consumer spending on retail sales yet, because that has to drive other aspects of investment, and obviously the technology aspect to make sure you get those margins to be able to make a profit that makes sense. So I think these are the couple of industries that I think that they want to kind of get back in there, start kind of growing. And again, the focus is back domestically, because that'll kick off what it needs to go when it starts going exporting their own goods trade-wise.
Always appreciate your candid feedback among all the guests. Patel, William Li, Liang. Always a pleasure to have you on our show. Appreciate your insights.